exactly. That's the thing. I mean, that's we are our business is just so vulnerable, as you know. I mean, we thrive on people being in packed places. We just started phase 1 today, but that doesn't mean anything. That means that New York only reopens like construction and manufacturing. All the stores are still closed except for grocery stores, essential businesses. That's about it. Like you can't get a haircut, no dance studios, no nothing. You know what I mean? Like everything has been online. So we have to wait till phase 4. And phase 4 Phase 4 is going to be later in the year. Like, I don't think any of the dance schools are going to open until maybe the fall, maybe even October, November. For Broadway, that's not going to be, my personal opinion, it's not going to be till March. They're saying they're going to try for January. That's what they're hoping for. But
January.
January 2021. Yeah. And I think, honestly, I think everything's going to change once there's a vaccine. I think, you know, if we have a viable vaccine, everybody has access to it, that'll change everything. But when are we going to get that? I don't know, you know.
Yeah, well, no one knows.
No one knows. I should probably take off the glasses. I might be fit, just so that I can see, you know, just want to be able to see you.
How's the weather there? Because the here is so cold.
Yeah. What, still cold?
Yes.
Really?
Well,
oh, I'm shocked. I'm shocked to hear that. Yeah, it's hot. It's hot now. Yeah, it just started changing about a week ago. And it's warm. It's like in the 80s today. Yesterday, Matt and I went to a protest. And my very first protest, I know. And it was amazing. It was beautiful weather, but it was hot. I mean, it's really hard when you're wearing a face mask. And, you know, just the heat and holding the signs and chanting and doing all that, you know, and we walked all the way from the Bronx down to about 143rd Street to the park there for the rally. So that's a lot of walking with the Latinos from the neighborhood. So it was pretty amazing because like half the chants were in Spanish and then they were in English. And it was just really, really a great experience. Very peaceful.
Beautiful.
It was beautiful, but I was grateful for the weather. I wouldn't have done it if it had been cold. I can't do that in the cold.
No, of course. No, imagine if lockdown would be happening over winter.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Like that you cannot even go for a walk. Like they have to be locked down and cold inside.
And get stuck inside, and then you can't even get outside. So, I mean, it's a blessing, actually. Well, it's a blessing and a curse. I mean, the weather's so nice now. Everybody wants to go out. They want to protest. They want to be out on the streets. And, you know, at least I can say, honestly, that New Yorkers are very responsible. I looked all around. There were thousands of people in this thing yesterday. Not a single person did not have a mask on. Everyone had a mask on. So, and there was hand sanitizer, and it was just really, really well organized, and people take it seriously. But that being said, that's still a lot of people. So I'm like looking around and I'm thinking, Matt, do we need to get a test? You know? I mean, I didn't touch anybody, but still, you know, you're with people, and it's the first time I've actually. Yeah.
And it's like a concentration of people, isn't it? And it's quite stressful, above all, when you were taught that you can't be close to people, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh. Yeah, and I was in the protest in London, and it was.
Oh, you did? Yeah, I had a feeling. I saw videos of Trafalgar Square, and I said, I bet you he's there.
I was like, Rah! But it's just mad, and it's just mad that everything is just happening at the same time. Yeah. There's this girl that she's doing videos to her past self, and it's really cool because she's an actor, of course, and she's just making like these little sketches of her April self talking to her January self, being like, okay, so you gotta prepare because things are gonna change a little bit, you know, maybe.
That's a cool concept. Yeah.
And then she does the same thing now again with her April person into the June person, being like, oh, lockdown, oh, forget about that, there's other things in the world.
Yeah, there's other things in the world. Like, yeah, dear self, you know, you're gonna forget all about the lockdown. Well, everybody's joking about it. It's almost like, you know, we're like, oh yeah, the pandemic went away. Woohoo! It did not. The pandemic is raging. But because people are so passionate about this issue, they don't care. No one really I mean, they're being safe as they can, but I think people feel that protesting and speaking out is more important than risking getting the virus.
Exactly.
which is really sad that this has to happen now in the middle of a pandemic, because I think it's going to be really scary in a couple of weeks when we see the numbers go up. You should know that, okay, since America reopened, I mean, we didn't, but the rest of the country did, especially the South. And everybody on Memorial Day weekend, they jammed restaurants and bars, and it's almost like nothing ever happened, right? No face masks. No one in my parents' hometown of Jacksonville, Florida, wears a face mask. At least I don't think they do.
Oh, wow.
And they were crowding the beaches and the parks, and it was like nothing ever happened, right? Well, now 2 weeks later after Memorial, now you're seeing the cases. I mean, Florida had I think the single highest count of COVID positive cases in one day just yesterday. You're starting to see the repercussions of what happens when people go back too soon. And I'm wondering, with all this protesting, in another week or so, we might see a huge spike of that.
Yeah. Well, but it comes from that. It comes from opening too early. Well, at least here, the government.
Are you guys open? Are you open?
We're opening in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Or in 1 week. But they were as soon as Spain. So we're 2 weeks on difference from Spain. Spain is just around the corner. But everything that happened in Spain happened 2 weeks later worse here.
Yes.
And
okay.
at the same time, the Spain were let's open doors, let's be okay. But they are 2 weeks ahead.
Yeah.
And we're let's do the same.
Right. And you're no, you got to wait, right? Now, when you say open, do you mean that you guys are already opening restaurants and things? I mean, or are you just going phase one?
Yeah, no, they're opening restaurants on the 1st of July.
They are?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's not going to happen here for a while. That's called phase 3. They say restaurants and bars is going to be phase 3, and anything theater or club related, where there's gatherings of people to watch a concert or a theater, that's not going to be till I was telling you about the phase 4, which we don't know when that will be.
Okay.
But yeah, restaurants are all still closed. Now they're operating takeout. You can go and you can call in advance and go pick up your order. So that's what everybody's been doing, so they can give business to the restaurants. But it's still curbside pickup only, no eating inside. Yeah.
Oh, no, here it's not inside either. So you have
to. Oh, okay. I got you. Okay.
So, but they are opening. And the thing is that how do you control drunk people?
Yeah.
If there's drunk people, they're drunk. They're not going to really care about COVID.
Yeah.
No.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I need a bar to do the rest.
Oh no, we have been well stocked on wine. I can tell you that the wine has gotten us through. That's how we've been coping. I mean, yeah, just try to be creative. We've done a lot of free online dance classes with the whole YouTube channel that I started, and the Shaw at Home dance classes that actually took off. So that's been really great, to give us something to do, something that's positive. And then I'm teaching a lot of online classes. I'm doing Broadway Dance Center, Alvin, and Steps. So I have a regular schedule, and these are all shot from my living room. It's
Really?
Yeah, all shooting from home. I got a tap board, and so I've been teaching tap classes on the board, and I gave wine to my neighbors up and down to say, please, this is only temporary. I know it's going to be loud. I buttered them up. I got them gifts. It's please, thank you for your patience. It's only temporary. But starting on this Wednesday, I'm going into Broadway Dance Center to live stream from the studio, and it's just my socially distant, myself and the videographer. They've sanitized everything. I'm going to give it a try. It is a new thing that they're trying for better quality classes, better quality video. And I'm actually curious to, I'm okay, I'm a little nervous about the subway, but I think I'll be okay. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, so there are culturally talking. What's the situation like at the moment?
They're all talking. Everyone's talking, particularly, the artists, because everyone's concerned about when do we go back, when do we work again. It is absolutely true that everyone, all 51,000 members of Actors Equity are unemployed. Everyone is unemployed. There are no jobs. I've been fortunate because I'm a dance teacher that because it transitioned to teaching online that I can still work, which is good. It's not a lot, but it's enough for now. But it is, for anyone though that had theater jobs or theater gigs, musicians like Matt, all of his gigs got canceled. Even wedding gigs, everything, all the gigs went away, all the theater went away. They're, they are very, very strict. The union has, sent out emails and saying, look, this is what's going to happen. We have come up with 4 things that each theater must meet for you to be able to work again. I don't remember all 4, but I do remember the first 2 was, there has to be a decline of COVID cases in the area. They have to be fully tested. They have to be able to contain anyone who has it, to be able to isolate them. And I think there are other rules in place, like, making sure that they're, the theaters are sanitized, and it's going to be tough to meet all 4 of these requirements, to be able to open a theater. So it's until that happens, the union will not allow any actors to work until all 4 criteria are met. I'm pleased that they're looking out for the actors' safety. I think that's wonderful. That's what a union is supposed to do, is protect you. But at the same token, there's no work. So everybody's like, when do we go back to work?
Is there any support?
Say it again.
Is there any support to people that are out of work? How are people surviving?
We're surviving on, some people have been resourceful, like some people have done other jobs, like essential jobs, they've, joined the grocery stores or joined essential or done delivery or whatever to keep money coming in. Some of us were fortunate to be able to get unemployment benefits. So if they qualify, they got the unemployment benefits. There's also a thing called PUA, which I think is pandemic unemployment assistance, which is a set rate that they give to everyone just because of the pandemic. So if you qualify for that. So that's been getting most people, at least in New York State. Okay. In New York State, that's been working. My sister lives in Florida, and she applied for unemployment like March 15th, and she still hasn't gotten a single penny. She's still pending. It's a mess. It's a mess down there. So like, she's been forced to go back to work. She just started work this week. I don't feel like it's ready to go back to work. The COVID cases are rising in Florida. She's in a tourist industry. I'm worried about her. She has no choice. She has to. She's had no income. So it is state by state. It is state by state. I feel that New Yorkers are fine with the unemployment. Also, we have Actors Fund, which is part of the Actors Equity Union, that has been helping actors. You can apply for assistance and they can help you. And the unions, like the Musicians Union, does take care of their members. But when it comes to, we don't get any, like, there's no government assistance for Broadway. Like, Broadway doesn't get a bailout. Like, there's no, yeah, I actually read somewhere that I think London, is it true that the UK gives some money to the theaters, to the West End, to be able to?
Oh, they're giving money to everyone just to try to keep everyone running. So the Arts Council, which is like, we have like an independent force of the government, because they take care of the arts. So they are not part of the government because they can't do propaganda. So they like, the government just gives money away to the arts, and then they do whatever they want with the money. So basically they canceled all the money that they were going to give it away, and they just separate that money through heads, and to help out companies. But commercial theater, in a general sense, if you depend on ticket sales, then you're in trouble.
Yeah, that's what
a lot of theaters that actually they work from governmental funds anyway. So they're not in trouble because they never, like if you have a gallery, because the galleries are free, so they don't sell tickets. So that comes from funding. So the funding is still there. Oh
wow. Okay. Yeah, it's very different now. Broadway did protect the actors for a while. They were paid for a few weeks, but that eventually dropped off. They can't continue that. And so that, and then it's just like I said, I mean, those of us who have been fortunate to get the unemployment, that's been helping. Some got other jobs, some are living off of savings. I think everybody's just waiting to see what the next step is. It has been amazing to me because, like, Fern, I never, ever, ever thought that it would be possible to teach a dance class on a computer. Like, and it's not really ideal still. I mean, I miss people and interact. That's what class is all about. But, and Nelson Mandela said, it always seems impossible until it's done, until somebody does it. And I guess so. I mean, you have to adapt to the times. And so, like, that's been a huge transition for all of the Alvin steps, Broadway Dance Center, to put everything online. And we've been doing it. We've had no choice. And the students are grateful for it. I think they just want anything to be able to dance, even if it's in their living room. But yeah, but when it comes to live theater though, oh yeah, that's going to wait a while. That's going to wait. And they also say that like when they reopen Broadway, they can't do it socially distant. There's no, you can't, they have to have a full house. So they can't afford to pay anybody, to the orchestra, the cat, they have to have a full house and sell all the tickets. What they're going to do is require masks and do, there's different things like sanitizing everything in between shows, maybe even guiding people in and out with the exit so that there's a certain flow of traffic. Yeah. It's going to be something. And they may not open big Broadway musicals first. I think the first things you're going to see open are like one-man shows or like a two-man play, or you might see small casts, maybe that don't require as much orchestra, just to get it started, to see how it goes. But yeah, but we're not predicting things are going to really be like that until the spring of 2021.
The spring of 2021.
So we're coping.
And is that a general sense for like the whole of the culture, or is this just Broadway because there's a bigger theaters, like the small theaters are suffering the same things? Or
no, small theaters, I think it's really even harder for small theaters. I think
really?
Yeah, for instance, like there is a theater called Barrington Stage Company. Yep. Their artistic director has done all of these things to ensure a safe performance. Now, she's only doing a one-man play. That's one of the shows. It's a new one-man play. And then the other one is like a concert, an outdoor concert version of South Pacific. Yep. And she has made the theater so that it's socially distant, okay, with the seating. She has even done like an air ventilation system to keep the airflow going. She's done all of these things, and now she's waiting for the union to approve the equity actors to be able to do. I think she's done everything right. Audience members requiring face masks. So we're still waiting to hear if that production is going to happen. But that's the only one I've heard of in the country that's going forward with their summer production. It's going to be tough for regional theaters to meet all of the requirements.
Do you know of many theaters that are being closed, or?
Yeah, some of them have closed. Some have even closed permanently.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, which is it's a trend. We're seeing that happen. Some have had to close. It's interesting too. We even see things here in New York. Like we have rehearsals. We have rehearsal spaces that Broadway shows rent out, like Pearl Studios or Ripley, where you have auditions, rehearsals, and all kinds of stuff. Yeah. Those have lost all their business, obviously. One of the ones that I used to rent from all the time, it's been here 30 years. It's called Shetler Studios. They closed after 30 years. The CEO put out a notice saying, "I'm so sorry, I have to close down." And so that was one of the first of a trend that I think we're going to start to see. That not every business will be able to come back and survive, and I think that's true with the regional theaters and dinner theaters and small theaters. Some will be able to come back, and some won't. Some won't survive. This. So it'll be a different landscape, I think, when we go back to working in theater again. That being said, I mean, we're hopeful. Theater people are so resilient. We're going to bounce back. I do feel sorry for the graduating seniors. I mean, can you imagine being in a BFA musical theater program and this is your year that you graduate, and then your senior showcase in New York is canceled, and you're like, I tell those students, hang in there. You're young. It's going to bounce back. Use the time for further study. Take as many online classes as you can. Watch live streaming of shows and really educate yourself. Watch movies, learn monologues, get your repertoire together, because when it does come back, it will come back very strong. There's a hashtag now with Broadway people. We call it longer is stronger. I think it's like the more we can hold off and make sure everybody's safe, when we come back, it will be like, It's going to be an amazing day, the day that the theaters are open again. That's going to be, I can't wait to see that day. Probably when the curtain goes up on every house, the people will probably give it a standing ovation for at least 15 minutes just because we're open. That's New York. Yeah.
Well, let's hope that happens soon.
Yeah, I hope so too. I hope so too. So we're just keeping on going, a lot of people are doing self-tape auditions for the future, for gigs next year, doing what they can. Oh, I've been doing voiceovers, I did an audio book. I'm going to do another one. It's, some people are transitioning into doing voice acting, and that's something. But yeah, it's a little, this is the time for preparation and reflection. I do know a couple of friends that did drop out of the business. I don't blame them. Some have decided to go back to school and study something else. It is a time of reflection where people are considering, okay, this is my time. Am I going to change? Am I going to do something different? Am I going to stay with it? So we're all kind of going through that process. like, what's next?
Yes.
What's next?
Yes.
What's next? Because we were the first to shut down because of the nature of our business, and we are going to be the last to reopen. And if you ask any theater producer, any regional theater or Broadway, they'll all say it's going to be normal when there's a vaccine. That's what they all say. You know, when people feel truly safe to return to the theater environment.
And until then, what?
Yeah, until then. Right.
Until then.
I know. Until then, you know, and like, you know, you were saying that girl, you know, with that thing about dear January self or dear April self, you know, who knew that in all this pandemic that we would be now dealing with this, you know, like a civil rights movement, unlike the biggest the world has ever seen. It's in all 50 states. It's in 18 countries around the world. Who knew that this was going to happen in the backdrop of the pandemic? You know, like that's been the most extraordinary thing, to see how things have escalated and grown so quickly in 2 weeks. And there's already been some positive action that's been taken, some laws that have been passed, and people are just continuing to push to fight for equality and justice. And all of this, man, I mean, who knew, right? When we started 2020, I was like, oh, Happy New Year. Yay, I can't wait to see what this year brings.
Exactly. Like, this is an amazing year. Like, all this thing is going to happen.
We were all so excited. I was like, what am I going to do this year? You know, I was auditioning for everything, you know, national tours and like just doing and now that's for naught.
All gone.
Yeah. And the ships too, you know, you and I, Fern, you know, we met obviously on the ship, which by the way, like we got on the Liberty 6 years ago yesterday.
Did we?
Yeah, I saw Lance posted something on Facebook, like a Facebook time reminder. 6 years ago on June the 7th, we got on the Liberty in Barcelona. Yeah, I mean, I was just thinking, oh my gosh. I mean, it doesn't feel like it was that long ago, but that was an extraordinary time. But yeah, all the ships are grounded for the moment. So even like the cruise ship industry, they're hoping for August, September, but we'll see. We don't know what's going on with that. And even with entertainment on ships, you know, when they'll start putting the cast back again, because they've just gotten everybody home. I mean, and still there are some out there. I have to say, there are still some of my friends that are stuck out there that can't get home to Mexico or England or wherever they're from. They're starting slowly to come home, but it's taken this long. Yeah.
Well, Fernando were in his like 75th or something year day at sea.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, really? Wow.
Yeah. It was like 75 days at sea.
Yeah.
Going cuckoo, imagine.
Go crazy. Yeah. As much, I mean, you and I, we love ship life, but yeah, I don't like to be trapped on the ship. I was all about, oh, we're in port, let's go, you know? So, yeah, I can't imagine what they've been through. Yeah,
it must be really hard.
And like, I'm not so sure they'd be so willing to come back that soon after just getting off.
After this,
they're probably like, I've got my feet on the ground and I'm staying here for a while, you know, but I'm anxious to see. I'd like the cruise ship industry, they hire a lot of singers and dancers. I would love to see that come back, because that's work that we used to always be able to rely on. So I'm hoping that comes back soon. We'll see. I think Royal Caribbean is supposed to sail again on August the 1st.
Okay.
And then I think like other cruise lines, maybe September, but this is all depending CDC allowance. So we will have to see if that's going to be pushed back a little further, but they're going to slowly start to cruise again, I think, at the very end of the summer.
If the theaters are going to be allowed to still exist on that time, or?
Oh, you're talking about the theaters on the ship?
Yeah.
I have no idea, because I don't know how they're going to do that. You can't really socially distance in the theater, but maybe you can.
Yeah, but
maybe there's a way.
They don't pay tickets, so they can.
Yeah.
They don't actually depend on numbers.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. It could be. Yeah. I think I did hear that they're going to do away with buffets. That's probably smart. So maybe it will be all restaurant, you know, where you dine in the restaurant and the waiters bring food to you. They're going to redesign the way of how people are going to dine on the ships, but it won't be buffet anymore. That's going to be a huge change. And as far as entertainment, I don't know what they're going to do in the theater.
Yeah.
I don't know, you know, and the cast, you know, you can't socially distance any cast anywhere in the world. So,
like, how do you social distance?
Unless you're doing a solo play, there's really, or a two-man play where you can do like, waiting for Godot, like 6 feet apart. I just don't know. I don't know. It's going to be, they're going to have to be very safe about that, I think, when things go back. So
And on
I
this,
don't know. I would imagine it's the same in the UK as well, right? With your regional theaters and,
oh
you know,
yeah, well,
yeah,
regional theaters, there's some that are closing. There's some
yeah,
people that are
just like
going
us.
to. So there is some help, because if you work for a company, there's a thing called furlough, and the state pays your salary at a 80%. The thing
Yeah,
is that if you're an actor, you're self-employed, so
yeah,
your rights go away, because you
yes.
are, yeah, you work for yourself,
Hmm.
because you're independent. Um, but theaters are trying to cope as they can. But there are many cultural institutions that are just closing down because they don't have any other solutions. What
Yeah.
would you say to young people that are coming out at this moment in the industry, and it's like, oh, what's happening? Like if you're a third year
Right.
in school, what would you say to them?
That's exactly. Remember, I was saying, like, it's like, wow, like our people that are in school right now are just graduating. I mean, what a time for this to happen, right? Right
Yes.
when you're like 21, 22 years old, just going, you know. I do say, I mean, and I've taught a lot. I've done a lot of classes. I've been teaching a lot, talking to people all over the world. I think it is, to stay hopeful. It's not over. And like I said, it is a good time to continue studying, to really enjoy, take advantage of all that's being offered right now. I
Yeah.
think like Lincoln Center has released some of their archives, so you could see Broadway shows from years ago. There's a lot of stuff that is available right now. Also too, it's one of the main, I'm kind of known for doing a quote before my classes, and the number one quote that has resonated the most with everybody has been Aristotle, okay, who said, "Where your talents and the needs of the world cross lies your calling." And I
Can you
think
repeat
about that.
that? Because it's just but
Oh, did I break up
yeah.
on that? Okay, I'll repeat it. Okay.
I
Yeah,
have a
this is
quote.
very important, so you don't want to miss this. Okay. Aristotle,
Yeah.
"Where your talents and the needs of the world cross lies your calling." Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I mean, and I'm thinking, okay, well, what the world needs right now is joy and theater. I mean, I feel, back when we were, New York was in such a crisis, when we needed PPE and the healthcare system was overwhelmed. I kind of regretted that I wasn't a healthcare worker. I was like, why am I not a nurse? This is what the world needs. I can't even sew. Fern, I'm no good at sewing. I can't even make a mask. So I felt completely useless until I realized that, like, what my talents are is like the teaching and the dancing and the singing and the joy. And if I can provide an hour of taking people away from this, all the bad stuff, and make them happy, then that's what I give to the world. And so many of our colleagues, some have been doing YouTube videos and online parodies to make people laugh, and just all kinds of great, wonderful, creative stuff has come out of this, that we're using our talents because it's what the world needs right now. So I would just say to the young people, just keep studying, all right, do a lot of independent study, and get your book together, your songs and your monologues, and get good at self-taping, learn how to self-tape, and just continue being hopeful, because it is temporary, and there will be a vaccine, and things will return to normal. It'll be new. I mean, we might always have, things in place where we have to be careful about social distancing. We'll see, but I think eventually you're going to see that it will come back stronger than ever. It may take a years economically for the business to actually bounce back to what it was before. But hang in there. You have invested 4 years of your college education, your entire life studying this. Don't give up if it's what you know in your heart you're meant to do. Okay. Or if this is the time in your life where you were like, ooh, I think I want to be in biochemical engineering or be a doctor. If you have that much more passion for another thing, then I would say maybe take a look at that. But you know what I'm saying? But that's even like pre-pandemic advice, right? Because I
Exactly.
always say, and I'm sorry to tell people this, but it's like I always do say, because the business, as you know, Fern, is so difficult, that so many ups and downs with the rejection, and that it is so hard to have a career in the theater, that if you are passionate, truly passionate about another profession, that is going to provide you more security. I would say do that, and do theater as a hobby, community theater, whatever you direct, whatever you want to do, be involved in it, still use your talents that way. But then your security, your financial security and you'll be fulfilled with that passion. If you have those two passions, I say maybe look at the other one. However, if you know in your heart that the only thing you need to do or want to do is theater, then you do it. You have no choice. You're just going to have to wait a little longer, but it will come back. Longer is stronger. Hashtag.
Longer is stronger.
Longer is stronger. Exactly. Yeah. Well, there's so many hashtags out there right now, but that's the one that the Broadway League is using, you know, to just remind people, you know, we will be back and we will be back stronger than ever. And also hang in there. Yeah.
Gives people, you know, the strength to get through it, because I feel that there's loads of people. I am quite like resourceful in my mind, so I just make up projects for myself and I keep it really busy. But then if you are not, because there's also something that for me is really important that schools don't teach you. It's like how to, you know, take care of your career on a serious business like mind way.
Yes.
And that never happens. And it's really, really, really complicated to find that fine point, because you're so used to search for the next job, but then you're so used to just be given a job, you know? And we have platforms today, like the whole internet, you know, that our talents are just basic and super useful for that. So if you have things to say, then you can say those things, because having a stage, I saw this post on Facebook, I think. There was like the same energy that we use on television, screen, and stage is the energy that we can use on platforms like YouTube, SoundCloud. And those platforms are available to everyone.
Yeah.
And we just need to, maybe this is a time that we are more responsible for ourselves. Maybe this is a time that because everyone needs entertainment. Everyone needs content. Everyone needs, you know, basic action. Everyone needs basic distraction. So it's really easy for you know, for you to just create stuff for people, and you don't need much because everyone has a phone and every phone has a camera.
Yeah, so, exactly. And I read something, actually, let me see if I can repeat this. I wrote it here. I read this article about the, you know, coming back stronger than ever. That it is true. I mean, this article that I read, the guy said there will be a demand for live entertainment, because streaming can only go so far. And when Broadway and the theater in general fills a primal need to gather in groups and hear, sorry, I'm trying to read this. And gather in groups and hear a great story from master storytellers. So I think it is you're right. It is a basic human want to be able to gather and to see live theater. Live theater there's nothing like it. And if you recall, I mean, actually great shows came out of the Depression era. In the Broadway season, that was the time that it was just so prolific and lots of shows, because people were just, they needed the entertainment. It was a necessary thing. Art is necessary, especially in times of crisis. So in that way, you know, I do feel that despite the economic recession, that, you know, there will be a primal need for people to want to see theater, and I do think that it will be revitalized. Yeah,
absolutely.
I hope so. There is hope. There is hope, but I know it seems a little bleak, you know. But and I agree with you, Fern, because I mean, I do recall there are not enough courses in college that teach you about the business of show, and you know, how do you get an agent? How do you support yourself? How do you have that side job? You know, how do you self-tape and social media and all this stuff is so, you know, vital today. I mean, this is the time to educate yourself on the business of show.
And it's also like, as it is a time for change in many issues in the world, it is a time for change for, you know, for us to be a little bit more responsible for our own image and our own work, because I feel that the biggest problem of the industry is that we are trained to do the art, but then everyone else is trained to control our art. You know?
Yes, and casting you have no control over, which is really is so hard. Right.
We don't have any control over anything, and it's all because there's other professions that are taking care. No, we don't even know how to sign a contract properly because we give that to our agents.
Right.
You know,
right. So, that's a good point. Yeah. I haven't negotiated myself in a long time. Yeah.
Work, you know, so like we can learn the basic skills. Like an architect needs to know you know, basic stuff like putting bricks together, you know, and they need to really understand what is that, and they really need to understand clients and administration and sales, and they learn all that in school.
Mhm.
Like, why do we just learn, you know, how to pirouette, but then
Right, right, exactly. I can do a mean triple pirouette, but you know, do I know how to put
exactly,
it
it's
off,
like wow,
right? Exactly. Survival skills, right?
yeah,
Survival skills, and
yeah,
yeah, and the psychological skill, you know, like even that too, like to how to, you know, to get through the enormous amount of disappointment and rejection and frustration that the business can bring. I mean, you know what it is. For us, it's like you're either up here or you're down there. There's no in between. You know, I mean,
yeah,
there's no, you know, there's really no. That's like a 9 to 5 job. You know what I mean? Like for us, we
yeah,
live the highs, we live the lows. You know, but and the highs are incredible, and that's the moments when you get a job and you're like, this is why I do it.
yeah,
You know, but then there are a lot of valleys that you go through, and I think having a network of close friends, colleagues, people that you can reach out to, things that you do, hobbies that fuel you, whether that's taking dance class or even just doing something different, you know, going boating or swimming or riding a horse or whatever it is that you are passionate about, staying involved with the things that make you happy, to sustain the positive mindset, because it can be, yeah, it can be really, really tough, you know, and I don't think they teach that enough in school either, is, you know, how do you survive emotionally, not just financially. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So this is a good time, everybody. You got time now.
Have a
You know.
think. What do we have time? Oh, this is. Thank you so much, Lainie.
You are so welcome. You are so welcome. If it's just like, as I'm thinking of it, there are 2 really good books about the business of acting that I would like to recommend.
Yeah.
Adam Cates, that's Cates, has a book called The Business of Show, okay, where he describes, you know, the business of acting. And my friend
Yeah.
Julio Agustin, Agustin, The Actor's Handbook to, I think it's called The Actor's Handbook. I got to look it up and send it to you, Fern, but he has an amazing book that he's written about surviving in the business, how to do it, after he's got like 12 Broadway shows. He's an incredible guy, but he teaches people how to approach it as a business. And so I'll get that title and I'll send it to you. But I think his book is now required reading in a lot of schools. So I think it's important, you know, you can read books like that and just educate yourself, you know, how to handle the business of show, so that you can take care of yourself personally, internally, emotionally, and spiritually. And then the business, you know, you also can feel more in control of that. It's not, you can't just rely on your agent to do everything. You got to self-submit and get your work out there. Yeah.
And to finish, how are you coping? How are you doing?
I'm actually okay. I'm
Yeah.
actually okay. I mean, you know, there's another hashtag, how are you really? I've seen that go around Facebook, because people are like, yeah, but how are you really? I mean, yeah, I have my moments, Fern, I have my moments, you know, like I do. I mean, Matt can tell you, I've had moments where I've just cried, you know, just for the pain that the world is feeling. The things that I see on TV really, really affect me. Not only just from the whole thing in the past 2 weeks with the police brutality and the protests, but the incredible amount of grief that's been happening with all the death surrounding the virus. It has affected me. I've done a lot of crying, but also too, it has opened me up to, like, now I've finally gotten good at social media. I started a YouTube channel. I'm on Instagram. I needed to do that, but this kind of forced me to do that. And now I'm like, I feel more connected with my students, with my colleagues. I have taken the time to love New York again. I've always loved New York City. I had gotten to a point that I was telling Matt, I got to get out. It's not, I just don't feel it anymore. You know, I was very frustrated with the city. I was frustrated with the business. And I have fallen in love with this city. I'm so proud to be a New Yorker, watching everything happen, taking time to actually explore the 3 parks in my neighborhood. I live in Inwood, which is North Manhattan. It's just above Washington Heights. So it's the Heights, just the north part of it, of Washington Heights. We have 3 parks that I have never really taken the time after all the years I've lived here. And I have smelled the roses, gone and taken pictures, gone for long walks, looked at the birds. Like, I have been like, oh my gosh, this is Manhattan. I had no idea there was so much here for me. So I've really enjoyed that. And just staying busy and doing Shaw at Home, which is my YouTube channel. youtube.com/Lainie Munro, but it's all free dance classes, and that has given me a huge sense of purpose. I mean, we got a mention in Parade magazine, and I was like, oh my God, so it just made me feel like people really appreciate this and that I had something positive to give to the world. So I think about that Aristotle quote, and I'm trying to use my talents, where the world needs, but I'm actually okay because I've had a good sense of purpose. I've had a good support system. I have Matt, and I'm just hunkered down in New York City trying to be productive and stay positive and try to put positive feelings and thoughts out into the world. And I've been doing okay, but everyone has been affected in some way. And I've lost people. I've already lost people to this virus that I know, that I've worked with. That can be very sobering. And I think there will be more, So hang in there, everybody. Wear a mask and stay safe. Please wear a mask. And don't hug anybody, and don't, what I mean? Just keep sanitizing and just keep your distance, and, wear that.
We will hug again one day.
Yeah, we will. I know. I saw on Facebook that you posted that you missed hugs. I miss that so much. I miss seeing my students and going to an audition. Now I would die to go to an audition and be with people and oh hi, just be in a room full of people, experiencing something together. To go, the last show I saw on Broadway was Ain't Too Proud, the Temptations musical. It was stunning. Matt and I had gone to see it because Matt's now a sub for Guitar One, and he was supposed to debut at some point in March to go on for guitar in the orchestra, and of course, Broadway shut down March 12th. So we're hoping that all comes back, but to be in the live theater again and experience something like that again with people around me going, yeah, it's like church with that show. People love it. I felt like I was in church, with all the Baptists. I was like, oh, this is amazing. Everybody was so into it, and just and singing out loud, singing the songs. And I thought, this is what excellence is. That's why I love Broadway. So I'm grateful to this because it has inspired me again. It has reawakened my love for New York City and my love for the business. So I'm going to hang in there. I'm going to hang in for the business a little while longer. I'm going to see what happens at the end of all this.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please hit the like button, and please consider subscribing to my channel so the algorithm of YouTube plays on my favor and you see my glasses and my curly hair in front of your screens more often. Speak soon. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.